Hey there, I'm April Perry and welcome to LearnDoBecome. Today I'm sharing 4 productivity boosts that happened inside my head. If you're new, here at LearnDoBecome, we help people who are overwhelmed by the details of life to create simple systems so they can do what matters most. And today I want to start with a few celebrations from our community. We love hearing how you're implementing what you're learning here. And if you're listening to the audio version on the podcast, we have the photos on our show notes page. So click on over to the website and you won't want to miss the beautiful pictures being shared. So first is from Diane, and she had cleaned out her office/craft room. And she realized, I don't need more containers. I just need to clear the clutter, make decisions, and 10-minute microbursts, step by step, she was able to create this beautiful space to hold all of her supplies. So well done. So proud of you, Diane. Second is from Cindy. She processed 42 boxes and reclaimed her living space. So you can see this amazing photo where she shows her living space is back, and she even donated her pool table to someone who needed it for his man cave. So I love that. Well done. And then finally, it's Teresa. She said, "Thanks for all you do. I'm committed to this journey. Eric, you were on the money about finding money." She cleaned out her desk and then found all this cash, which is so awesome. Not everyone will find cash, but literally when you clear the space, you find maybe gift cards you haven't used, items you need to return, checks you haven't cashed. It's amazing to watch. So we love seeing all the money that's found. All right, just diving into today's topic. The productivity boosts that we often talk about here at LearnDoBecome include creating our current projects lists and identifying next actions and figuring out the best routines and things that can be often checked off and organized. But productivity isn't just about the checklists. Often productivity boosts can happen with our mindset. And there are 4 things that have made a big difference for me lately that I thought might be helpful for you as well. So first, I now do a morning mind sweep of emotions. And this has been super helpful. I got the idea from a book called The Mind-Body Prescription. And basically, the book is talking about how often we feel pain when we haven't processed emotions. So an idea was when you wake up in the morning, just get out a piece of paper and write down, like, what are you angry about? What's worrying you? What's bothered you in the past 24 hours? Like, what are you nervous about? Any of that. And I feel like I hadn't really ever done that. I would just kind of move throughout the day. And often if there was a situation where I did feel some anger or I was, frustrated with something, I would just think, oh, it's fine. I don't need to worry about it. I understand where that person's coming from, or I can, be the mature one or whatever. But I found that just taking a moment to write it all out, and then I choose to connect with God and ask, is there anything I can do to influence this? Or do I just need to let it go? What should I do? And that gives me a chance to just process the emotions quickly and move on. Now, I did this every day for 10 days, and I've found that now I don't necessarily need to do it. I kind of ask myself, how am I doing today? And if I feel good, I just move on with the day. If I feel like, I am upset about some things, I sit down and write it, and I just rip it up and throw it away. So it's not about dwelling on those things. It's about processing. But that little morning mind sweep of emotions, so good. All right, the second productivity boost that happened inside my head was that I learned to prioritize joy. Now, this was really surprising to me because I consider myself to be a happy person and I feel like I'm joyful a lot of the time. But somehow I feel like I focused more on doing things that need to be done rather than creating experiences that I personally feel excited about. Now, I got a virus a few months ago and I was in bed for several months, kind of in and out of bed. And finally, I watched Raylan Eagle. She's here on YouTube and she helps people who have had a virus and, maybe have post-viral fatigue or long COVID or something like that. And as I watched her videos, I realized that creating something joyful was really important in calming our nervous systems because when you feel joy, you can't be in fight or flight. Now, as I heard her interviewing people who were talking about how they'd found joy and created joy and they started doing things for themselves, I knew there was something to it, but I thought, that's too easy. There's no way it'll work. So I gave it a test. We have this bowling alley down the street, and I've only been there maybe twice in 10 years. But I thought I would have so much fun going bowling tonight. So I asked Eric if he wanted to go with me, and he did. And we went and bowled, just one game. But I had the best time. Even though I'd been sick and I felt like I was walking through mud and it was kind of a big deal to get there, it helped pull me out of the sickness because I was listening to music. I got a couple strikes. We were just laughing, like the gutter balls. Like, it was just fun. And I realized I need to create more joy. So I don't know exactly how I wired myself not to have more of those moments and create more of that, but that's something I'm doing regularly now, and it's awesome. So I encourage you to find a way to incorporate more joy into your life daily. All right, the third thing is I've started to notice and adjust my personality characteristics that lead to exhaustion. So I know that it's very, very common for people here in our community to feel like they don't have power because they have other people who maybe are giving them tasks or who need things, or they have people interrupting them, or it just becomes a constant state of, I'm trying to get my work done and then someone comes and piles a bunch more on me. Okay, and so often it's easy to look externally and to blame those situations or those people for making our lives so hard. But I changed my question and I said, as I was learning about how our personality characteristics can often make us sick or cause some of these deeper issues, I asked the question, what about my personality is enabling this to be so hard for me? Because other personality types might not faze them, but for my personality, what is it? And that helped me to be able to take ownership and help me not to place blame on other people. So I'll just share, I identified 4 old personality characteristics and replaced them with new ones. So here's old ones. I let other people and their priorities for me dictate how much time I could spend on non-deadline driven things that matter to me, like time in nature or reading a book or time with friends. I have such a strong sense of duty and I'm really responsible and I care about people. So when it came to carving out time for things that weren't like required, I just felt like I had very little power. So that was a personality characteristic. Second, the reverse of that, I wanted other people's priorities for themselves to be the same as my priorities for them. And that often left me critical, judgmental, and resentful. So hard to even admit this, but that's something I was doing. Next, I stepped in to make things better for people, even when it was going to hurt my health. So if someone else's priorities were not the same as what I thought they should be, I would step in to improve things for them. And this caused so much extra pressure on me, but I felt it was for a good purpose because I was helping people thrive. But really, are you helping people thrive if you're doing everything for them? Like, no. And then finally, when I did all the work on something that someone else didn't prioritize, even though I thought they should, then I would feel sad that they couldn't be trusted. And I would convince myself I had to be the martyr because I care the most about being responsible. Now, I don't know if you're like me. You might be thinking, you are absolutely crazy. I would never do any of those things. And maybe you have a totally different personality and you don't struggle with that. But I'm guessing if you're human, there are some personality characteristics you have that you do struggle with, that do create maybe contention or stress or something in your life. So those are my 4 old ones. Here are my 4 new personality adjustments. My change in beliefs. What I do with my time and energy is between me and my higher power. I don't look to others to tell me what I have to do or what pace I have to set or what boundaries exist around my stewardships. Next, I respect other people's choices. And if our goals align, we can work on things together. And if our goals don't align, I can clearly communicate with them and we can figure out the best way to move forward. But I'm no longer trying to do things for people or resent people and push them in my direction. Next, I prioritize my health above making things better for others. I move at a doable pace, engaged in good causes, but I don't overextend or take responsibility for others' joy. This is a hard one because I feel like, a good person will make themselves sick to help other people. But now I'm learning someone who wants to help other people needs to do it in a sustainable way so they don't burn out. Which that probably sounds obvious, Okay, and then finally, I work on things that I want to work on, and I prioritize self-care over martyrdom. If I feel impressed to do so, I will temporarily sacrifice my needs to care for others, but I will then build in time to replenish. So I don't want it to sound like, oh, if someone really needs something, I'm just going to be over here having self-care. But it's this balance, because for people who are either caregivers, like maybe you're a parent or you're taking care of your parents, or you're in a support role at work or in home and family or in the community, and if you're compassionate, which I find most of the people who come here to learn to become are really responsible, they're really compassionate, they have big hearts, and they are willing to put others' needs before their own. Like, there's beautiful things about that. But I've just found I have to have healthy boundaries in order for this to be sustainable. Otherwise, I end up laying in bed for months. So, okay, those are the first three. Last one, the fourth, that's a productivity boost that happened inside my head, is now I acknowledge that becomers keep learning. So I didn't want to feel shame around this, because sometimes I think, I've been online for 20 years teaching productivity and all this. Like, why did I not know this? Why am I learning about joy and all these boundaries and all this stuff now? But we actually have a podcast here at LearnDoBecome. It's episode 170, and we talk about the difference between an achiever and a becomer. So achiever is something we hear all the time. I grew up like, oh, I want to be a high achiever. I want to achieve things, get rewards, and win all the points or whatever. But achiever often drives us in a direction that's not very healthy. So instead, we emphasize being a becomer. Achievers want to win the race, and becomers want to be refined. Achievers seek admiration. Becomers seek to be an instrument for good. When you're an achiever, it leaves you feeling like you're never enough. When you're a becomer, it keeps you feeling content. Being an achiever feeds the ego. Being a becomer releases the ego. And we have a whole list of more things like that, if that's helpful for you. But reminding me that it's okay that I'm still learning. It's actually great that I'm still learning, because that means I'm a becomer and life is still giving me lessons that will benefit me is awesome. I also went back, there was a podcast I recorded back in 2022, and it was called 7 Rules I Need to Replace. And I reviewed what I was struggling with then, things like, oh, if there is, like, I can always handle one more thing, or if there's an opportunity, I have to go take it, or replenishment can wait until life calms down. I was reading through these things that I had written and realized I actually don't struggle with those things anymore. Like, I'm actually, those ones, the way I was struggling, I've overcome that, and I've made great changes. And that gave me hope, because I was thinking, okay, so right now I'm identifying things that I need to change and I'm trying to do differently. And that's great. I can do that. And this growth just feels so good. So I'm sure you notice the same kinds of things in your life. When you actually sit down and you think about what you struggled with years ago, or even a few weeks ago, or even yesterday, you can see where you've become more patient or more courageous or more empathetic. That growth gives us a chance to celebrate. I know it's easy to be a perfectionist. It feels so good to be a perfectionist in many ways. But when you realize how limited the benefits of perfectionism are, and when we can recognize that being able to acknowledge our weaknesses and work with them and then grow from there, it's great. And I'm just really, really grateful. I didn't love being sick and going through all the things I went through, but I'm so grateful for these productivity boosts or these life changes that happen inside my head, because now I genuinely am waking up more excited and going to bed more content, because I'm more at peace and I'm creating a life that really is sustainable. So I hope that's helpful for you. Okay, I'm going to close with a few more celebrations from our community. First one is from Melissa. She made this awesome current projects list. She's so excited because it's functional and it's cute, and she used items she already had. And it organizes her projects based on projects that are for her family, and then beyond, which is volunteer or paid work. Having your projects right in front of you so you know what your focus is and you're not overextending, it's so awesome. So way to go, Melissa. So proud of you. Next one is from Carrie. She shared that she cleared her office and creative space and built a command central. Now, when you look at the two pictures, the first picture, the before picture, is actually really lovely, but you could just tell there's some piles and it just didn't have order, and things were in specific places so that Carrie could find them. And then you look in the next one and the command central's there on the desk, and you just can see, okay, now we have specific places for things like support materials, for the items that are waiting, for the things that you need to review at a specific date, all of that. So building a system feels so good. Way to go, Carrie. And then this final one's from Karen. She shows it's a progression celebration. So the first picture was the before, and it was just the piles and the stuff. The second picture shows how she'd organized it and cleared it and just kept what she wanted there. And then she had a space ready to build her command central. And then she finally built her command central, her system. And this whole thing took her, close to a year. She was just moving at a pace that worked for her. But then she's so excited because she got it done. So well done. Okay, I'm so grateful that you're here with us. Thank you so much for the good that you're doing in your own life and in your families and communities. I hope that this podcast and YouTube channel can help bring you peace and energy and joy, and that you can feel excited about the wonderful things that you're able to do to impact the world. If you want to work with us more here at LearnDoBecome, you would probably be interested in our welcome kit. It gives you a little step-by-step ways to get involved here at LearnDoBecome and learn about how to create current projects and identify next actions and kind of start building a basic system. And then we have our Steps to Everyday Productivity program. We even have a new coaching program that opened up, so you can learn more about that. I'll add some links here along with this recording. And then we have our Arise membership. We actually did our Arise call this morning with our community. It is so fun, where we have an amazing group of people who come together where, yes, we want to be organized and productive and care about our families and do all the good things, but we want to do it in a way that really honors self-care and leaves us feeling happier, more joyful, and more connected every month. And that's just been amazing. So we'd love to see you inside of Step or Arise, or even just here at the LearnDoBecome community. We're so grateful for you, and we hope that we can help you to be able to create systems that will enable you to do what matters most. Sometimes that's hard growth. Sometimes it's creating more joy, and sometimes it's, dealing with the stuff in life that might feel a little overwhelming. But we believe it doesn't have to feel overwhelming, and as we come together as a community, it can be a beautiful process. So, okay, we'll see you soon. Thanks for being with us at LearnDoBecome.com.